My business is a coffee business. We have 2 locations. We have one on the Ormer Road and we have one just recently opened in Botanic Avenue. We basically import our coffee from Copenhagen and have sort of a Danish inspired Danish inspired theme within our coffee shops. So the business idea really came when I was a lawyer for Danske Bank and I was seconded, worked in Copenhagen with their Danske Markets legal department. Fell in love basically with Copenhagen, their coffee culture and also their coffee, which I drank their coffee by a guy called Rico Sorensen every day. Came back to Belfast and couldn't really get any decent coffee. That was 6 years ago. So an actual business experience, I was a corporate lawyer, so I had nearly 12 years. During that period of time I mostly worked in-house, so I was always a very more commercial lawyer I suppose than maybe a private practice lawyer. So I worked in banking, financial regulation. That I suppose actual business experience of running a business, none, but working within a business legal environment I had a lot of. I'm probably to my detriment quite impulsive, so I just sort of decided one day, yeah, I had to bite the bullet and do it. And from then, 5 months later, I'd opened the shop on the Ormer Road. So I obviously went back and forth to Copenhagen a number of times, met with suppliers, met with Rico, who thankfully agreed to roast his coffee and ship it to Belfast to me. The idea was planted in my head 5-6 years ago, but to be honest, I just never had I don't know if the courage is the right word, probably the craziness, to actually just give up love and make it a go of it. The biggest motivator is I'm actually kidney transplanted and spend a lot of time with people who have also had transplants or who potentially wouldn't be here without transplants, and it sort of changes your perspective. You know, it was like, sounds crazy, it's a now or never, but you know, I didn't want to get to the end of my days and regret not having tried it. I was always very lucky in the legal role I had. I worked for very large institutions, and then I opened a small business in Northern Ireland, and it was a huge culture shock. And I was just expected, if you emailed somebody, that they get an hour window to reply, but they weren't replying after an hour, and it was just trying to get used to the pace and the way the business operated on a local level compared to dealing with maybe FTSE 100 companies. You know, it's just a completely different ballgame. So what advice would I give other entrepreneurs who are looking to do the same? Think about it really, really carefully. It will be 150 times harder than you ever think it will be. And I suppose what I realised is that you have to be passionate about what you do, because even then it's challenged so much at times when things are really stressful and really hard going and you're working 16, 17, 18-hour days, that if you don't love what you're doing, you're not gonna have that motivation, that drive and determination to keep doing it. So yeah, be 100% sure it's what you want to do.